Quilt Shop Studio. Thank you for joining me today. We are working on our temperature quilt. We're just going to actually touch up on it, so hopefully you're on track with this. You should have 6 rows done as of yesterday. It would be Thursday, the 22nd of February. It is a house and a tree combination. I'm using obviously dark colors for the colder temperatures here in Nova Scotia, so they do drop sometimes down into the -20s, and those would be the darkest of the colors of the darkest blues, where it kind of border lines that. So we have some lighter colors too, which are obviously warmer days and sometimes sunshine. So, and I've actually mixed and matched a few of the colors for my houses just to kind of represent maybe what the temperature was going on that day. It was very fluctuating. It went from minus to plus and then back to minus again. So having some fun with it. So this is, like I said, the end of the 6 rows if you're doing this quilt with me, which would be awesome. If you're done at the end of the year with me on this project, and you should have 2 quilts at that point in time. One for the colder months and one for the warmer months, the color wise. And I will give you the opportunity, if you show me the pictures of you standing next to them, to the opportunity to possibly win a chance for me to quilt them up for you on the vault. On the vault. It's like a Vanna White sort of situation. So I have here, so you can just see maybe in the overhead, I have very much been experimenting with the trees. I have all sorts of different little ones here. We made our template last time here. So it was a video on foundation paper piecing, making your own foundation paper piece pattern. And that's how I showed you how to make the house and the tree right there. So with the tree, because trees are all sorts of different, and I didn't want them all to be the same. I wanted the house to be the same, but not necessarily the trees. So I had a little play on it. So as you can see here with this green one here, it's got no bottom. It's just straight down to the bottom here of the template. So I just went straight on either side and then squared it up with my lovely 4.5-inch ruler. So that's what I'm using as my squaring up for all my blocks to make sure they're all going to be beautiful and sit together. So it was 4.5 by 4.5. If you have a smaller one or a bigger one, I'd say go for it. Why not? Use what you have on hand, right? And of course, these templates, you're not sewing through them, you're just using them as a guideline. So when we went to make the tree here, we folded it over, did a little trim for the green part, came with our ruler with that 1/4-inch seam allowance, butted up against where the paper was, gave it a trim, and then put the white piece of fabric on and then folded it over. And then once it was big enough to cover the square, we trimmed it out. Okay, and it's the same with all the cute little houses. Now I have done some houses where their houses are next to each other, so it could be like a little duplex, and sometimes I've got the trees next to each other. It's whatever makes you happy. I've alternated some of the rows of where the houses were and the trees were, and I'm having fun. So here's another one of those very crazy days. It snowed, it was sunny, it was cold. It had all the things on it. There is a few special blocks that I have, especially in the one behind me on the wall here. There's a purple one from when Pop left for Ontario, and another little purple one when he came back from Ontario. So those are just little memories for me. There is here for Valentine's Day. I did make a lovely red block just to represent Valentine's Day, so I know that is February 14th and going forward. And then for this time around, I have this beautiful, cute little star fabric here to represent the 19th of February, which is pretty much our Heritage Day, but also President's Day down in the United States. So help honor my American friends. I did that one for the 19th. For this year, okay? And then for today we've got this beautiful one right here, because it is cold. It was cold this morning. So we're going to stick these 2 rows together. Okay, and I have done them with 9 houses and 9 trees per row, so that gives you 18 blocks per row, and then 20 rows long is going to give you what you need. Like I say, you do have to come up with 5 different houses, replacing the trees with another house throughout the year. That's something that makes something special to you, like your birthday or an extra one for Christmas Day. It's completely up to you. That'll make your 365 on each quilt. Now, when it comes to putting these rows together, you do want to make sure you are lining up those seams exactly. So we're going to start from one end and line them up, pin them. We're going to pin every little intersection, and we're going to flip it so the dark fabric is onto itself. And I just kind of put a pin right near the seam where they need to come together. And then as I'm coming down with the sewing, I'm just going to pull that pin out. Okay, and like I said, I'm trying to flip the blue part or the dark blue part. Obviously it's going to change colors as we're going throughout the year. If you are working on this with me, I would love to see yours and how you progress so far. Like I said, we are in six rows in and 9 weeks into the new year. Okay, well this one where it had the two houses together, I am pushing it towards the darker color. Okay. And then that way, once you're lining up each of these sections here, you know your quilt is going to be as square as possible, and it's going to look as pretty as possible with those little 4.5-inch blocks on top of each other. All stacked nice and pretty. This will, like I said, will give you 2 quilts in the end. Okay. This one's got 2 trees together, so that one was the darker one. I even pieced the trees because I only had some, say, 2.5-inch strips of some lovely green fabric. I'm like, well, I'm sewing that together. I'm making a tree. The whole point is to use your fabric stash as you have it. Do the best that you can with it. I've used all sorts of whites, white on whites, a couple little tans, or creamy grays, I guess you could almost call them, for some of my backgrounds. Lining up at those seams is very crucial to the whole look, the overall look of the project. Now this is a pattern that can, it's obviously free, and it will keep you busy every day doing something that you love. Put another bit of pin in there. Okay. And you can see on some of these, I have really pieced it, like that white one right there with the rounded, like I've got 3 different colors. So here, this one, this one, this one, this one. And I'm using all the bits I can. I'm not trying to waste anything. I am using it more on the tree parts than I am on the house parts, to get just to make sure I'm using everything. Okay. Now we're just going to sew down that seam, and then we're going to attach it to the 4 rows behind me. And then we were all caught up, except for today. We have to do today's. We could do that later. We're having a good week so far. We had a fantastic time on Saturday putting a chili mammoth together with a little hat and a scarf. He turned out so amazing. We're actually going to finish up his background, what else he's going to go on tomorrow. So come join us there. We're going to make some flying geese, probably do the 4 at 1. Flying geese, do some greens and some blues, I think, to help complement the woolly mammoth. It's a pattern by Art East Quilt Company, and they gave us an amazing share code for everybody during that stream. So it was very lovely. My doors are all different colors just because I wanted that little pop of brightness, especially with all these kind of all blues, greens for the winter months. When it comes to getting into spring and summer, obviously the colors are going to change to be nice and bright and beautiful. Now we're just going to give that a little press. Leave those pins there. Okay, give this a little press. And then we will pin it to the other one. And this is your chance to be creative. This is where your own stash and your own creativity is supposed to inspire you. Sometimes it's hard. I understand that you like to follow other people's patterns, or which is all cool, all good. But sometimes you just need to step out of the box yourself and just have some fun with your own fabric. It doesn't have to be a temperature quilt at all. It could just be a fun little house collection. As you can tell, I've got trees on trees and houses on houses, and I've kind of switched it around a little bit. Here's another tree that's all completely pieced together right here. And it's no stem, just, he's just a little guy hanging out. He's like a little bush. He's like a little tree bush. Some have longer stems, some have no stems, or trunks, I guess I'm trying to say. Some have big trunks. Alright. And I do have like little paper pieces where I've got where the day and what the temperature was and so on and so forth, just to kind of make sure I'm keeping on track that this was the right day for this order. So now we're going to take the ones off the wall. Okay. Just grab it here. It's only held in with a couple little pins. And we'll just lay this right on top and pin it up. Oh, this is, I can't wait till the end of the year to see what these two look like. Of course, the second one, the one for the warmer months, is definitely going to be done first because this one goes from January, February, March, and then October, November, December, because it's all the colder months here for Nova Scotia. The warmer months will all be done in one together unit all together, and they'll be once finished. So unfortunately this one will have to wait to be finished until the end of January, end of December, sorry. Just flip it to the dark and pin it. And I'm using like so many little bits of whites and stuff like that that I, never would have thought to use up. Fabric is not cheap. It is an expensive hobby, like most hobbies are usually. Even if you buy yarn, yarn's expensive as well. Unless you're friends with the sheep farmer, then, there's always benefits to that. And I do have it marked down for the days that snowed. And I tried to use some of fabric that actually had like some little snow dimension to it, but I do have them all written down. And once the quilt is finished, I'm going to add white buttons, little white buttons on the days that snowed. I think that would be kind of a cool idea. Not just because it's snow, just because I love buttons. And I like to use up my buttons. And I thought about putting white ones for the snow and maybe blue buttons for like really, really rainy days, which we've had a few of those. All right, now we're going to put our 6 rows together. This looks so good already with even just the 6 rows. And we will touch base with this project in about maybe another 9 weeks to make sure that your guys are on track. See what mine is looking like at that point in time. Now maybe we can still get a couple people to hop on board. And depending on where you live, you're just going to have maybe very similar colors throughout the whole year. Because our temperatures usually go from minus 40 Celsius to plus 30 Celsius. There's going to be some fluctuating in there. But a lot of times they kind of hover around the same, but between 0 and about minus 15. So there's a lot that kind of just all blend together the color-wise of that. We have done a few houses before. There was actually I think it was a pink and purple scrappy quilts. I did with a bunch of little houses. It was probably like 2017 or 2018 when we did that one. Okay, now this, and then we're just going to press. Oops, oops, oops. I am doing a little bit of back stitch right on the edges of the rows, just because it's going to be a little while before I'm actually getting this all completed together, and I don't want it necessarily to fall apart, right? So just a quick little back stitch or back tack, depending on where you're from. What do you call it? Back stitch or back tack? What do you call it? And that's usually only done in clothing making. But. All right, just a couple more little bits here. Let's turn this around this side. I'm going to say white on whites for the background. Okay. Cute. So much fun. Okay. Oh, losing our pattern there. Pop it in the bucket. And there we have. Ooh, it's going to be beautiful. So I'm going to do 2 quilts this wide, full of beautiful colored houses and trees. Come make a village with me. Do it now. Hit the subscribe button. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow. Be good.